even though I do feel guilty that feel like I'm always on the move and like the grass is always greener, I do feel like my path has led me to film where I'm directing. And so now I do need to have like the Excel knowledge, the legal doc knowledge, but also have like the performance knowledge and the ability to like write a script. So I'm hoping that it just like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
It is. It's like almost a formula also where I don't see it as you quitting. I see it as you recognizing there's something else out there.
Wait, it's not that deep.
Okay, well, Delaney, welcome to Not That Deep.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
I'm so excited to be here. I've also realized that having people on the pod is just a great way to get them to hang out with me.
1000%.
Because like we do not phone tag, but text tag.
Yes.
It's hard to track someone down.
Yes. Well, I've been a bad friend. I'll own up to it. I've been so busy the last 6 months that we have been playing phone tag. But yeah, I'm so excited to see you and catch up.
I'm so excited. The last time I saw you was we were filming for... Okay, you made me feel like a star because...
Oh, wait, I'm so glad.
This was... I don't want to call it a school project because I feel like
it was a school project.
But
Make no mistake.
To me, it felt like my Hollywood debut.
Wow. Well, technically, you all have been in a film festival because that sketch got into a film festival.
That's actually...
So you are a star.
When you asked me to do it, so you're in film school. Do you want to like tell a little bit about just like your film school journey? Also because we met doing stand-up.
Yeah. Yeah, so my journey's really weird. So should I just give like a quick rundown on like the path that led me here, or
I would love that because it gives context for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Me as like a podcast host, should I be introing you? For sure.
No.
100%. But like we're learning and no one's going to intro you better than yourself.
Of course.
And then I can add in little things, but
Perfect.
that'd be helpful.
Okay. So I was born in San Francisco. I went to college for acting originally, and just it wasn't the right fit. And so I abandoned ship like junior year. I knew I wasn't going to be an actor. And I really didn't know any other job paths, which is something I really want to talk to you about today, because I feel like we're setting kids up for failure in terms of finding a career that they would like and are good at, because you really only know like what your parents do. And so that's exactly what happened to me. I knew I didn't want to be an actor, but I really didn't know any other career paths. So I went into real estate, which is what my parents do, for like 3 years. I started in like hospitality real estate, and then I did fundraising for like a private equity fund for a year. And during that time, it was like business with no creativity. And it was just like, this is obviously not the fit. So I started doing stand-up on the side to kind of just scratch that creative itch. And I felt like that was much more of a fit, but still not like... It still wasn't what I was going to do. Like, I still knew I wasn't going to be a stand-up comedian. I started doing more like content creation of like sketches on Instagram. I had a podcast. At that point, I thought I was going to work at like Barstool Sports or Betches. Like that was the goal. But
there's only 2 paths for us.
There's only 2 paths. But during that time, I started to see content from like Almost Friday, It's a Bad Idea, where they were doing comedy sketches, but they were much more cinematic. And I just thought they were so much funnier than like the classic Instagram sketch where like someone's playing 2 characters, which is what I was doing. So then I decided to take a 4-week film program over the summer, last summer, and loved it. And so now I'm enrolled in a 1-year program, and I'm about to film my thesis project, and I'll be done in August.
This is, I don't want to call it a Cinderella story, but like this is why I wanted you to introduce yourself, is because so many people stop at real estate.
Yeah.
For your example,
Yeah.
so many people see that this is not the right path for themselves.
Yeah.
And they had this creative itch, but they never scratch it.
Right.
What eventually like got you to realize that real estate was not right for you, but actually do something about it? Because I know you said you were doing stand-up on the side, but like your parents are in real estate. I would imagine, that's scary.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it was like one of those things where I'm not like a cosmic, the world is giving me signs person, but there was 1 month, which was like my last month at my real estate company, where like every single thing was going wrong. Like my apartment exploded, had this like massive flood where I had to move out, and I ended up having to move out for like 4 months. And then I had to drive into work every day from like an hour away over the bridge. And I got 2 flat tires when I was driving over the Golden Gate Bridge. And then I went on a work trip to Washington, D.C., and my phone got stolen on the first night, which had my ID and credit card. And I had never been to D.C., so I had no way of getting around. Like, truly everything was going around and going wrong. And I'll always remember, like, I was walking past the White House with like printed out MapQuest directions back to my hotel, just sobbing and realizing like I can't even take a picture of the White House. Like, I don't even have music playing in my AirPods. Like, this is rock bottom. But literally that night I quit because I was just like, this can't be right.
That's so funny. I'm literally just I'm imagining exactly what you just said. If you did have your AirPods, what song would you be playing?
Probably Unwritten.
Yeah. That's a good one. I would probably play White Houses.
Wow, love.
By Vanessa Carlton. Wait, that's so real. So where were you based at the time? Were you in New York or San Francisco?
I was in San Francisco.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I used the excuse when I quit of like, I just feel like I need to be in New York because I knew that I couldn't be working for them in New York. And I moved to New York like a month later.
With what job?
No job. No sleep. Club. Another club. Yeah, no job, which rocks. Highly recommend. Yeah, for the first year I was here, I had saved up some money from working in private equity, and I really just did stand up like every day. And then started doing sketches and stuff. But yeah, it's hard to be able to quit your job and not be making any money for like a year. So it was a very privileged position I was in. But for people that are in a like office job and they feel like they're missing out on something creative, I feel like a good perspective that people should have is like, of course, no one's going to love their first job because they're like at the bottom of the totem pole, like doing all the grunt work. So a good question that you should ask yourself is like, would I like this job if I had my boss's job or if I had my boss's job? Because if the answer to that is yes, I would say like, maybe stay because you're not going to love anything. But if you also can look at your boss's job and be like, no, I would also hate that, then it's like, well, then what are you working towards?
Exactly. Because also career path is so important because it gives you a line of sight of that is where I want to be in 5 or 10. And also I recognize if the only thing that's keeping you wanting to take your boss's job is money.
Yeah.
But also some people are so motivated by money.
Right.
And that's so fair.
Yeah.
But I do feel like from what you just said and me personally, like we are motivated by like the potential of creative exploration.
Right.
Like, and personal growth.
Yeah.
That's how I feel. I don't know if you feel the same way. I have a lot of friends right now who feel like we're in a great divide. Where a lot of people, we're 27, 28.
Yeah.
Are you 28?
I just turned 29 this week.
Oh my God. Delaney, wait, when was your birthday? This is so horrible.
27.
No, it was just your birthday.
Not worrying at all. I'm like not a huge birthday person.
Really?
Yeah. I'm not like other girls.
Wait. You have your sash underneath your jacket.
Yeah,
It's like, it's my motherfucking birthday. I'm like, is that the piñata that you brought in? Wait, happy belated birthday. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling the same.
All right, well, fuck. I'm a huge birthday girl, but so.
And I love that.
We'll celebrate following this.
Yeah.
But 27, 28, 29.
Yeah.
I'm finding that a lot of my friends right now that are in corporate jobs are taking a pause right now and thinking, whoa.
Yeah.
What do I want to be doing?
Yeah.
Because I also think, like you gave a really good example about, do I want my boss's job?
Yeah.
I always think when I'm 40 years old and I look back on my 20s,
Yeah.
what do I want to have done?
Totally.
And that gives good perspective too of like, not like making a decision of like, what coffee am I going to get, but am I doing the things that are fueling my happiness,
Yeah.
but also potential for growth?
Totally. Well, and I also look at it in the way of, I think that everyone should be doing a job that they're good at. And I think that like you and my strengths are more like being a social person and like people skills versus the job that I had in real estate. Like that person's strength should be more like Excel spreadsheets and legal documents. And that's just like not my strengths. And I could do it fine. But I think that was the thing that was pushing against my happiness was just like, there are so many people that could do this job better than me. And there are other jobs out there that I could do better than other people. So like, why am I trying to be what is the phrase? Like square peg
In like a round hole.
Yeah.
So real. So you start taking these like different routes. You have stand up,
Yeah.
sketches,
I'm so scattered.
and then the podcast.
Yeah.
No, but I feel like even then it's like, okay, I'm moving from here to here, but now you're in a new industry and
Yeah.
you have all these different routes that you can put to it's gonna that you can I'm like, it's the scatting part of not that deep.
That's where I learned about scatting was when I got into
Like, do I do stand-up or do I do scatting? Like, there's so much out there.
You should have a scatter on the pod.
Maybe.
That's such an interesting field.
I feel like they would be intimidated by me. Pre-scatter, I was talking about how you have all these different routes that you can potentially go.
Yeah.
What like excited you about that, but also like what was frightening about seeing like all these different routes? Because you're doing stand-up,
Yeah.
sketches, podcast.
Yeah. I'm a big proponent of throwing spaghetti at the wall, especially when it comes to like these creative fields that are becoming more popular of content creation or media in general, because you never know what's going to stick. And I think if you pigeonhole yourself too much, there are some people that like they make one video and it pops off and like that's their brand and I'm so happy for them. That's amazing. But that doesn't happen for most people. And so I think the original concept of doing all three was so that I could get as many clips as possible without having to do as much work. So like a podcast, for example, is great for pumping out clips because you can record for an hour and then have like multiple clips that you can be pushing versus like a sketch that I do takes more time of like filming each part, editing it together, punching it up, all of that stuff, writing it, having the idea. Like there's just so many things where I knew I couldn't be posting a sketch every day. That just wasn't going to happen. And then stand up was, I think, very important for this whole recipe because it's where I learned how to like write in classic joke structure and like how to make it obvious to the audience what the punchlines are, which I use a lot in my films now and in my videos. And also stand-up clips do way better on Instagram and TikTok than my podcast clips did. So kind of that whole mix, throwing spaghetti at the wall. I also did, when I was doing my podcast, I did man on the street interviews, which I really wanted to talk to you about today because like, you are so brave. The time I did man on the street, I legitimately wanted to kill myself. Like, it is not for the faint of heart. It's just like, okay, do you want to get rejected 1,000 times over 1 hour? You should do man on the street. Like, how do you do it?
Thank you. This sounds it's going to sound really sad when I say it, but don't feel sad. I feel like I have been so used to rejection for so much of my life, of just like putting myself out there and not getting the results that I want, that I'm not immune to it because it still gets to me.
Yeah.
But I think that the whole notion of like, it's not that deep. Like someone not wanting to talk to me on the street has nothing to do with me.
Yeah.
It has to do with them in a rush. Maybe they're shy. Maybe they're having a bad day.
Totally. Oh my God, I'm such a narcissist that every time someone rejected mine, I was like, oh my God, they hate me.
No, you're normal, actually. I'm a freak. Like, I also, what I love about it too is like, for as many times people say no, the person that says yes, like I make eye contact with, maybe they smile at something that I say.
Yeah.
And like that connection is worth the 10 rejections.
Yeah.
So once I also get them, it's amazing. Sometimes someone yesterday just said something so offensive and I was like, about something that's not that deep. And I was like, do you honestly think I can clip that shit? Get out of my face.
Yeah. That was my other problem, was like when someone would say yes, they would give like a not funny at all answer. And it was just like, what are we doing here? Bring it, guys. If you're going to stop, give me something funny.
Yeah. Do not waste my time. So I'll compare it to this. Also, you know how a lot of stand-up is now becoming popular because of crowd work?
Yeah, of course.
I think that a lot of man or woman on the street is becoming popular because of like the rejection or like the B-roll. That's not even the interview.
Yeah.
Like the interview equals the stand-up.
Yes.
The crowd work equals the, all right, keep it moving.
Like the Billy Eichner, Billy on the Street, where he was like, half of the video was people rejecting him.
Where that's what people, if that's something that someone's going to connect to more online.
That's true.
Post that of still like, hi, I'm being really vulnerable.
Yeah.
This is a video, this is a 10-minute clip of me just getting said no to.
Totally.
So I think that's it. But like, you also do put yourself out there. Like your clips are hysterical. You don't have a niche also, where like a lot of people get famous, off of one character or one clip. Like that is my worst fear.
Really?
That is my worst fear because I never want to be pigeonholed.
Yeah, well, okay. I think that the way the algorithm works, if you have something that blows up, like I do think pumping out a bunch of videos that are similar will just help you grow so much. And then once you have a following, I feel like you can pivot. And like, sure, you might lose some followers, but I think that pivoting now is much easier than it once was. So I do think it is a bit of a game of like, it's like the first video I had blow up, I should have completely just like dumped everything, gone for that niche for at least like a couple weeks.
What was it?
I mean, the niche would have been crazy. It would have been like golf content or like country club content, because it was like a video making fun of golfers.
Yes.
And then like a couple weeks later, I did a video making fun of pickleball that also blew up. But then the videos in between that were about like common day circumstances did not do well.
What made you not go full throttle?
Just because like I don't know that much about golf. Like I feel like the well would have dried up quickly.
Right. So you're trying to like build it up with other stuff and no one's clicking that. And you're like, hey, it's still me.
Yeah.
It's still me that was doing the same shit.
Right.
So then what did you feel like was getting you like that gratification, or like what made you also you were working with a lot like other content creators too?
During that time, no.
Oh.
Maybe a little bit. I started working with Brian a little bit for like...
So funny.
Who's great. Love him. Shout out.
Shout out. Wait, he has a fun last name, right?
Vote Nilsson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great. He's like blown up. I think he has like 40,000 followers, 50,000 maybe.
He's hysterical.
So everyone should go follow him.
His stand-up is also... I'm like, what is this, free advertising? Like, his stand-up is so funny too.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people, I mean, you have this too. You have a great online presence, but then you're also really like confident and your stage presence is amazing.
Thank you.
I think that's hard to find.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different styles of stand-up right now. And so I think there's also the style, which is just like the goofy guy that's like really insecure, which is very funny on stage. But yeah, I started working with Brian a little bit, which was actually very helpful. I would work with him when I wrote a sketch that needed a guy. And it's so much nicer when you're writing a script with like someone in mind, because when you're writing in their voice, I feel like it's just so much funnier than writing two people in your own voice. But yeah, sorry, I forgot where we were in the convo.
It's okay. We just like got on a sidetrack of BVN.
Yeah, you get lost.
I'm like bacterial vaginosis. I want to talk about your podcast.
Okay.
Because what you were saying earlier was really interesting.
Yeah.
Because Debatable Delaney?
Yeah.
So cute. What was that, 2024, 2023?
That was like
or 1992.
2023 maybe.
I feel like you started the podcast world.
I was the first podcast.
Why didn't you include that in your intro?
It was me and Mark Maron. We really launched podcasting for the world.
What made you start it?
It was kind of what I already said about just like wanting to be able to pump out a bunch of clips without having like the legwork of writing 7 sketches in 1 week.
So you had like clips in mind when starting the pod.
I didn't like write clips, but I had the idea of if I record for 10 hours, then there's at least going to be 5 clips per episode that are like usable. And I don't recommend this technique for people if you're trying to like make it as a media personality. I would probably tend to lean more towards the sketches than the podcasting if you don't want to be a podcaster. If you want to be a podcaster, of course.
I'm like, bitch, you're on a podcast. You're like, if you have a podcast, I would jump ship.
If you don't want to be a podcaster, obviously you shouldn't have a podcast, because what I found was like, if people didn't recognize me, they were less likely to watch a podcast clip than a stand-up clip or a sketch clip. So that's why eventually I abandoned my ship, just because like the numbers were better on sketches. So I was like, I should spend more time on this. But it was so fun. And if I ever like become famous, I would totally bring it back.
Yeah, you should.
I love podcasting.
Because would you just like debate people?
Yeah, the whole premise was like taking a topic and then my guest would choose what side they wanted to defend and I would play devil's advocate. Which also I saw your sketch about playing devil's advocate and I was like, is this about me? The Euphoria quote, like, is this show about us?
Yeah, is this fucking play about us? I love playing devil's advocate.
Same.
Like, unfortunately, if a friend is venting to me, I'm like, I really do see the other side.
Oh my God, same. It's my worst trait. People find it so fucking annoying, but I can't stop.
It's a bad trait.
It's terrible.
But it's like, do you want me to be real with you?
Yeah.
Because I'll say that. I'm like, I will ask for consent. I'm
That's
like,
good.
do you want me to play devil's advocate?
Yeah, I don't.
It's like, I just feel like you were wrong.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I know that this is a terrible trait that I have. And that's like, I feel like was the start of the podcast, was just like, I know this is a terrible trait, so let's try to make it at least like funny and fun.
Yeah.
And we wouldn't be talking about anything serious. It would be like, do you think that ghosting is okay?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's so clippable also because it's like, okay, that's relatable. Also, like, no offense to me, but like a podcast isn't always, every episode is not gorgeous, stunning, delicious for the entire thing. So then it's like, if you can grab someone with a 6-second clip of like, that's funny. That's how I find podcasts.
Yes.
It's literally just scroll. That's how I found, Ride with like Benny and Mary. Like,
their new show looks amazing, by the way.
It looks so good. Let's watch it.
Let's watch
it with Jeffrey. I'm like, we're giving so many names away, but it's okay. Okay, so I kind of want to pivot a little bit because you have those 3 things. I'm literally picturing like you as a stick figure walking. It's like real estate, boop, kicks it, stand up, podcast, content, still kind of there. Yeah. But now what made you say, I'm going to go to film school?
Okay, well, it started because of this itch of like, I have these ideas for sketches, but I don't know how to do them because they require more of like a cinematic feel. And that's when I did the 4-week program and then started the year-long program. But I will say, like, I have felt guilty my whole adult life about like, I feel like I'm constantly quitting things. Like acting school, I quit. My real estate jobs, I quit. Then stand-up / content creation, I kind of quit. But now looking back, like I learned so much from each part of my life that I'm now using for film. Like for acting, obviously, like being able to perform in front of people and be like a social girly. From real estate, like first of all, Excel sheets and legal documents, but also like planning events when I was working in hospitality, and then through stand-up, like how to write a joke and punch up a script. So even though I do feel guilty that I'm like, feel like I'm always on the move and like the grass is always greener, I do feel like my path has led me to film where I'm directing. And so now I do need to have like the Excel knowledge, the legal doc knowledge, but also have like the performance knowledge and the ability to like write a script. So I'm hoping that it just like, this is where I'm supposed to be.
It is. It's like almost a formula also where I don't see it as you quitting. I see it as you recognizing there's something else out there. Have you ever heard the quote? It's not like a famous quote, but like rejection is redirection.
Yeah.
For you, it's like quitting is redirection.
Totally.
And also you're not quitting. You're just saying, wait, this isn't what I'm best at.
Yeah.
And now you've found what's like filling your cup up.
Totally.
You were just in Napa.
Yeah.
What was that for? You looked stunning.
Oh my God, thank you. It was so much fun, so much anxiety, but a blast. It was my first film festival.
Like, that's so cool.
It was so cool. It was called Napa Valley Stream Fest, which it was amazing. If you're in the Bay Area, I think you should check it out. First of all, star-studded. Like Jason Segel was there, Meredith Hagner, like iconic. And I got to show my final film from my first semester, which is like a 10-minute comedy parody about Adam and Eve if they used like modern dating tactics. So it was so cool to like see it in front of a live audience on a big screen and like see where they laughed and do the Q&A afterwards. It was just like a dream. Amazing.
How did you get your film into the festival? I think that's just something, if someone's listening, like how would you even go about that? And then I want to know like exactly what you were feeling.
Okay. Festival politics.
I'm like, scat.
Festival politics are really tricky and something I'm learning as I'm going. Again, I'm like throwing spaghetti at the wall instead of just doing research. I'm like, but there are so many festivals out there right now. There's a website for all the filmmakers out there called Film Freeway, which is where you apply to any festival. But there's like hundreds and hundreds, thousands of film festivals out there. And a lot of them are like bad, just like pay to play. They kind of let anyone in. They'll give like 1,000 awards. Like it's just not worth it and kind of embarrassing. Like if you have that.
Like a new talent night.
Yes, it's exactly like that. So you have to like sift through. I mean, this might be like a little bit too specific for your audience, but
who knows? Who knows? Because who knows who's listening?
Exactly. For all those film buffs out there, if you're looking to submit to a festival, the best advice I can give you is like, make sure that the festival does like a Q&A after, because that's a good indicator that's like a good festival. Probably less than 20 awards. And then obviously just like do some basic research. But I applied to like 15 festivals on Film Freeway, and Napa was where I had like my world premiere. And I don't think I can announce it yet, Dana, but I'm really excited. It's playing in June in a festival in LA at the Chinese Theater.
What? Wait, what?
So I'm so pumped.
Congratulations. What the hell?
I'm so excited.
That's huge.
I'm thrilled.
So that came from Napa, or that's a separate one?
That's separate. Yeah.
Wait, I want to go.
You should come.
June what?
June 21st.
Wait, like I could make that work.
Wait, that would be very fun. You should come. Because also you would just like enjoy the event. Like it's great for networking with other people that are doing filmmaking, but media.
Wait, I want to go.
You should.
June 21st.
You would kill. You would
Okay.
like at any networking event, you would seriously kill.
Like, thank you so much, but this is about you. You're like, you would get rejected so much, you would love it. Like,
You would kill at those networking events.
wait, at the Chinese theater?
Yeah.
Okay, this is amazing. Do you have your outfit?
Not yet, no. But I'm learning that you have to be more bold with your outfits. Like, I thought I had nailed my outfit looks for Napa, and like, I fear I looked the worst. Like, you need to wear bold colors, like a fur, maybe different textures, an animal print, like something to stand out and show, like, I'm an artiste.
Yeah,
Like,
perhaps
I was
a
going
beret.
to business casual, I would say, versus I think you should be serving like runway look.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Get Armani on the phone.
Please.
Okay, this is amazing. So is that your next premiere? Is that what it's called? Premiere?
Yeah, like the next showing.
Yeah.
I actually have my New York premiere on Monday
Oh,
at Big Apple Film Festival.
were you going to tell me? You're going to save it until right now to tell me? Can I come?
Yeah, you can come.
Okay.
It's at 3 though, on a Monday.
I have therapy at 5. How long is it?
Mine's only 10 minutes.
So Napa, Pipeline. Well, actually, how did it feel? Like, were you nervous as hell?
I was so nervous. I was like, I definitely sent them the wrong video. Like you know, your mind just like goes crazy. I was like, there's probably like nudes that I took in the video. I sent them, like, I don't even take nudes. Like, it was crazy. I was so nervous. Also, like, I'm not gonna lie, the movie is raunchy. And so it was also awkward because my parents are from Napa. And so obviously they came to the screening. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll sit next to my dad as he watches me like deep throat a banana. Like, it's crazy. So I was very nervous, but it went very well.
You just have to leave the cares at the door. Who accompanied you? Your parents?
My parents came, my sister, and like 5 of my friends from high school.
That's so freaking special.
It was so fun.
And your old real estate bosses, right?
Yes. Both of my private equity company bosses came, full suit.
They're like, we need you back. Were you acting, like, what was your role in that?
In that, it was a class project, so I was acting, producing, directing, and writing, which I don't think you would be doing in the real world, obviously. But since it was a class assignment, you have to take on so many roles.
What was your favorite? What did you learn from that you want to pursue next? Is it directing, acting, producing, writing? Which one has a calling to Delaney?
I'm definitely going to pursue directing more in the coming weeks because I'm doing my thesis film and there's 12 characters. And so even though I would like to be in it, I'm realizing like I'm so new to the art of filmmaking that I feel like I need to be just strictly behind the camera in order to like really perfect the frame and being able to direct the actors from looking at a screen versus like being in the scene with them. I think especially since I'm using 12 actors, it's very important. So I'm just directing, writing, and producing my thesis.
Just. That's insane. And you're doing
And the boom.
The boom guy. That was so funny. We were filming in a makeshift church, or was that a real church?
It was a real church, but it was like a tiny little prayer room.
I loved it. And there's just a guy, I guess it was, I don't like calling it a class project because it to me, it was Hollywood. Like I was an actress. I wore a dress. I was like, do I look okay? Literally, I wasn't even in the scene. Like I was taking it. So I'm like, girls, I just have to run to the bathroom. And they're like, yeah, Dana, we don't need you to film right now. Like,
You killed it.
No.
You got promoted day of. Do you remember?
Yeah. Because someone didn't show up. No. And it's crazy. Also, a lot of my friends are not in this space. So when I say I'm going to film, they are picturing, like, is Ryan Reynolds physically with you?
Right.
Just behind the camera?
Right.
I want to, what time are we at?
We're at 38 minutes. I think the next show in here is let me see.
I have no concept of time when I'm talking.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that I'm leaving enough time to get in the not that deep.
Amazing.
If you could do like 11:10 max, that'd be great.
Yeah. We won't yap that much longer. Did we break the fourth wall?
No, this is podcast. There's no fourth wall.
I love breaking. Oh, well, can there be? Because I love breaking the fourth wall. If I'm ever on Housewives, maybe. Like, I would break the fourth wall the second I get there. I'd be like, bravo, bravo, fucking bravo.
Wait, are you going to be on New York?
No,
What's the dream? New Jersey?
The dream is eternal happiness. I actually don't think I could handle reality TV.
Okay, but if you were going to be on Housewives, which would you choose? Or which Bravo show would you choose?
Really good question. I actually think I would want to be on Below Deck.
Wow. So you dream of work.
If I can't get my hands dirty, what's the point? Me and my sister always talk. Do you watch Below Deck?
I don't actually. I've seen a couple episodes though.
There's something so spicy about working on a boat,
Yeah.
a mega yacht.
Yeah.
And there's interior and there's exterior. And I would definitely be hooking up with someone. Like, I want to hook up with the bosun. I want everyone to know about it. I want to be smoking cigs at a club in Mallorca on my day off.
Yeah.
My only thing is I would get nauseous because I get seasick.
Right.
So that's a technical dilemma. What would you be on?
I mean, the first gut reaction is obviously Summer House, just because like that's our age range and they just like go to the Hamptons every weekend.
Yeah.
But I do feel like that like minimizes your potential. Like if you're a housewife, you're going on at least 2 amazing vacations every season, and like they film you about your normal life, which I think is nice, versus like I'm watching this season of Summer House and like poor Paige like has a full-time job during the week, and then every time she gets to the house she's like clearly does not want to be there.
Yeah. And like they're working too. I think it is. I agree with you. You have to think about your trips. I also would have loved to be on Jersey Shore.
Yes.
Back in the day.
Yeah.
But
I definitely could not have handled that.
Yeah. When we went to prom weekend after our prom, of course, we like went to the Jersey Shore house.
Yeah.
And you remember like the duck phone?
Yeah.
I have a photo of me just like so drunk with the duck phone. And I'm like, this is sick. I look a mess. I'm like 12 years old. Literally 12. But I think that being like canceled from being on a show is the scariest thing.
Totally. But they usually like are able to bounce back after like 6 months. So it's not that deep.
It's like having a baby.
Totally.
9 months to ultimately cook it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Tom Sandoval. Did you watch Traitors?
Oh, biggest comeback of the century.
That was so funny when he was doing the like musical melody challenge.
Yeah.
Like adorable.
It's also like the power is in the editor's hand.
Totally.
And that scares me.
That's very scary.
I want to know what your not that deep is.
Okay. So I had like a couple in mind.
Yeah.
So I have one that's like bigger, that's like really true advice, and then one that's more specific.
Can you do both?
Yeah. Okay. So my
because we have time.
Because we're swimming in time. My big one that I think applies to everyone is it's not that deep to change your mind about anything, like big or small, like a date, plans with friends, a relationship, a career. Like truly, it's not that deep at all, as long as you're okay with following the golden rule of like, do unto others what you want them to do unto you. Like if I cancel plans with you, then it's not that deep, as long as I'm okay with you canceling plans on me.
100%. And it is as small as like canceling a date to protect your own peace,
Yes.
but also like switching careers.
Yes.
I think that a lot of people are scared to make those hard choices because either they don't want to hurt someone or they're just comfortable.
Yeah.
there's so much beauty outside of that.
Totally. I mean, every time I make any decision, I'm constantly thinking about what everyone else thinks. And we kind of already talked about it during the Man on the Street, but like, no one fucking cares.
No.
Like, it's truly not that deep. And you spend more time worrying about what people are going to think about it than you do thinking about like what will make you happier.
Also, everyone is so consumed with themselves.
Of course.
I had a really good example the other day. I like just said something socially weird.
Yeah.
And like 2 hours later, I apologized about it. And they were like, what are you talking about?
Right.
They forgot that I said it. And I was like, oh, I've been crumbling in my little head.
Of course.
And you've moved on.
Yeah.
Move on.
Right. Every time I cancel plans with someone, I'm like, they're never going to talk to me again. They're going to talk shit about me, tell everyone that I'm a terrible friend. And it's like, no, they don't care.
And if they do, they're not for you.
Right.
It's not that deep.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Thank you.
What's your smaller one?
My smaller one is making mistakes in emails is not that deep. Every time I send an email, I reread it probably 72 times, like crazy. As if like if I do there instead of there, like the world will crumble. Like I always think whenever I send an email to like 10 people that 4 people are going to respond immediately, be like, did you know that the attachment's not attached? Like, who the fuck cares? No one cares. Sometimes people don't even respond. Like, it's not that deep. Everyone's using ChatGPT anyways. Like, proofread your emails like once and then like let it rip. Like, we're wasting too much time proofreading.
And that's not that deep. I completely agree with you. Did you know that you could set a timer on your emails?
No way.
So at my first job, I don't know if you have like email trauma and that's where this is coming from.
Of course I do, yeah.
At my first job, I sent so many emails that were like I would mean to say like I would mean to send an email to Wolf and I would be like, hey Delaney, like it was so bad.
Yeah.
That my manager was like, hey, babe, we had to recall so many emails. He was like, hey, babe, we can actually put a timer on your email so that when you click send, you have 2 minutes to proofread it after.
Okay, wait, so you have the opposite problem that I have.
I'm like a skillaboo send. And like
You're just like copy and pasting the same name over and over.
They're like, hey Dana, and they meet me and they're like, wait, you're so funny. I'm like, I bet you forgot that I called you the wrong name, right? But like having the ability to have 2 minutes of oh fuck, let me proofread, because sometimes it's better to proofread it and read it as if you're receiving it.
Yeah. 1000%.
What's your trauma? Like, did something happen or you just are like so scared?
In private equity, I feel like the stakes were so high. Wait, we're about to bless her and bless you.
That was from the new Pope.
Wait, I'm loving all the new Pope content, by the way.
Same. He's
just like us.
No, he's just like us. He's recalling emails too.
Totally.
He's like, hey, baddies.
He's like doing Wordle. He's like a Cubs fan. Like, it's crazy. I had trauma from private equity because every time we would send an email, especially since we were like asking investors for money, if I made a mistake, like it would be the end of the world. Whether it be like misspelling someone's name or like not attaching something, which like honestly is not that deep. Who the fuck cares? It's not like if I get an email that's to someone else's name, I'm like, okay, clearly she copy and pasted. But it's not that she hates me. Like, everyone copy and pastes. Get over it.
No, right. Like, when it happens to you, you're so understanding.
Yeah.
Or like, hey, forgot this attachment. It's like, okay, well, now I have it.
Like, what do you think? People in sales are like typing personal emails to everyone? No, of course they're copy and pasting.
Yeah. Wait, I just got a glimpse. Are you wearing your Aura ring on your ring finger?
Yeah.
That's powerful.
It is.
You're married to fitness.
I am. I'm married to myself. I love every Peloton instructor is like, before I put a ring on it, I married myself. I committed to myself.
The hardest part is showing up. I'm like, you're so right. That's why I'm leaving. Wait, who's your favorite Peloton instructor?
Probably Cody. But Robin's the one that does this. Robin and Allie love. they're like, I got this diamond tattooed on my finger before I even met my husband. But now I am married and you're still alone.
She's like, so use my code Robin20 for 20% off your Aura ring. And you're like, fine.
Thank you so much for bringing that up because I am single. If anyone is
yes,
interested.
we do have a segment of like, she's that deep. And that's where we vouch people off.
Okay, wait, what's your not that deep?
Oh.
Or do you not usually reverse the roles?
Wait, sometimes I do because it's like funny, but I actually didn't have one planned.
Okay.
But I think spending like $8 on an iced coffee is not that deep.
Yes.
I think that people like have so much beef with coffee places of like, it's so expensive. Like, what the fuck is this? So don't spend it.
I'm completely on board with you. I think that people that are constantly asking like how much things cost for other people need to mind their own business. Like, people prioritize different things. Don't yuck other people's yums. Like, yeah, it might be foolish to spend $30 on an Uber when you can take a 2-minute subway, but like, that person has their reasons.
That's my prerogative.
Yeah.
Yeah, like judging other people's finances.
Yeah.
But again, okay, what am I allergic to? It's happening again.
God.
Do you have allergies?
Well, I actually heard a statistic. I don't know if you heard this, but the mayor planted all male trees in New York.
What?
Because he didn't want fruit to be falling on the ground all the time. And male trees are the ones that produce all the pollen. So now there's just pollen everywhere.
The men are taking over. What fruit is falling in Manhattan?
I think every female tree produces fruit. And I saw that on a TikTok once, and I believe it.
No, I think you read that in Wall Street Journal.
I did, yeah. I actually studied it in school as a scientist.
Wait, scientist, real estate, content.
Scientist, actor, real estate content.
Back to science. We always loop it back. Delaney, I adore you.
I adore you.
Thank you so much for your premiere on Not That Deep.
Of course.
This won't be your last. Where can everyone follow you?
You can follow me at shenanigans_with_Flanagans on Instagram. And that's where I'll post about all of the screenings and all that stuff.
I can't wait to support you on Monday.
Thank you.
And best of luck. We'll be in touch.
Amazing. Thank you guys. What are your fans called?
I don't have that yet.
Okay. I was brainstorming for you. I was thinking it could be like your fan base could be called like just the tip because they're not that deep, and your enemies could be called like full penetration. Anyways, bye guys.